Let's talk Trout's card. Superfractor 2009. Superfractor, 1 of 1, Mike Trout, one single baseball card, sold for $4 million. Close to $4 million. I bump it up. It's close enough. C-Rad. I mean, me and Cody talked about it on Monday during the baseball podcast, which check out on Mojobreak Media channel on YouTube. But what were your initial thoughts when you seen that this card sold for $3.93 million?
For me, the knowing that this sold for almost $4 million, it was just kind of like, to be honest, it was kind of just like, that's what it feels like. Like we're in that climate right now in the hobby. Cards go for millions of dollars now. You know what I mean? Especially after the LeBron sale. So for me, it didn't take me back that much. It was just like, okay, I know that card sold for $400K 2 years ago. From obviously Vegas Dave bought the card for $400K, and back then I swear we thought that was just the most insane amount of money, right?
I know. I wanted to go through the hype. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
I want to know what our optics were at that time, because I'm pretty sure we were like, "There's no way you can make money on that."
Exactly. And so to be where we're at now, and just for me to hear that it sold for $4 million, I was like, "Oh, cool." That is a complete opposite reaction, but it's like I said, it's the climate that we're in right now. It's hard for me to understand still as more of a basketball collector. It's hard for me to understand why somebody like Trout would go for more than like LeBron, the LeBron. Well, I guess the LeBron isn't technically a 1/1. If it was a LeBron Logo Man 1/1 rookie patch auto,
I was gonna say
we might have seen a different number.
It would. I mean, now what the cards are going for? Let's say the exquisite Logo Man 1/1 RPA goes on the auction block. Mm-hmm. That has to be a $10 million card, right?
Yeah, that's gonna break. That should shatter the.
That has to be a $10 million card.
Technically, it should shatter the.
Because
Trout.
it's safe to say that Mike Trout is great, but he is not LeBron James. He doesn't have the appeal
or the accolades
and the championships that
in the respective sports.
And that's what makes baseball different. That baseball doesn't matter how many championships you won in the card game, that is. Mm-hmm. In the card value game and who's collecting who, it does not matter how many championships you win. Now for the NBA, it absolutely matters how many championships you win. So I think same thing with the NFL. You can see with Tom Brady. The guy that sells the most in football current is the guy that has the most Super Bowl rings. That's Tom Brady. But the guy that sells for the most in baseball doesn't have a ring. The guy that has 3 rings, Buster Posey, I know you guys are like, oh, I should bring up Buster Posey again, is the guy has 3 championships and he sells for less than a guy that almost lost a game last night who barely knows how to catch, who's had, 20 at bats.
You may be able to put all of Buster Posey's autographs in the market together, and it would not equal the price of the $4 million Mike Trout card.
It's very true. I'm not going to even dispute that. That's the baseball market. When I saw this, and I think we briefly talked about it going up, I knew that it would go over $1 million. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was $2 million, $4 million. I am absolutely surprised. I want to know who bought it. I mean, Vegas Dave, a lot of people hate his face. He's one of those guys that if you played him a game of something, he would just rub it in your face the whole time. He's one of those guys that probably doesn't let you talk, doesn't care about what you do at all. At least that's how he comes off. He's not going to offer you a place to sleep. He's not going to ever bring in your groceries. He's going to be the guy that's just telling you how great he is. And I know the line of business he in is betting, and he wants to look like the best. And I get that. That's the facade he's putting on. But man, I mean, he did just do the biggest flip in the history of flipping that may not ever be topped. We may not ever be able to say.
That was a quick flip, 2 years.
2 years. I mean,
that was a quick flip.
How does the guy in Taiwan feel right now that sold it for $400,000? I want to know how he feels. Hopefully he turned off the media and does not know about it. We'll never know about it, but I'm sure he does. But what were you thinking, Dan? $4 million.
I would like to go back to the archives because it probably went something like this. We were all talking about how much it was, $400,000 out of his mind. I probably was like, you know what? I could see this card going up about 10 times
What
and
do we
being
have
worth
to,
about
what does he have to do
being
for
worth
it to
about
go to $1 million?
being worth about $4 million. I think I probably called it if we go back to the archives. Without a doubt. No, but all
Your name's
seriously,
not Upper Dan. It's Downer Dan.
I'm pretty sure.
cards.
I'm pretty sure if we go back, I was screaming that he was out of his mind and he just threw away
I think we all
a
were
half,
that.
a $500,000.
The general
And,
consensus was that how can this go up?
So the one thing that I take out of it is I'm just gonna go swoop up every Derek Carr card possible because Vegas Dave, how does he do it?
How does he do it?
How does he do it? Derek Carr, millions of dollars on the table just for the taking right now. So go get your Derek Carrs.
Contenders and
Bro, you guys, I don't have to say much. You guys know my love for all Oakland teams and my quarterback. I love Derek Carr, but I don't know if I believe him that much, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
you don't love him for $1 million.
yeah, I don't know if I love him that much, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas Dave, it's just crazy. And like I said, I would like to know who bought this. Like, can we find out at some point? I know it's, there's the anonymous factor. It's a $4 million card. You don't want to know where this card's going, But I want to know because there's rumors. I think C-Rad was kind of saying that maybe Dave shill bidded his own card.
I think he bought his own card.
I bet somebody who bought it is in the card industry. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I'm not speculating. It wasn't me. I didn't buy it. But Doug may have bought it. I didn't buy it.
That statement was almost like, I bet whoever bought it has $4 million.
Not anymore.
That's true. Not anymore.
They have a Mike Trout Superfractor. They had $4 million.
God, and it's a 9 too. And I know it's a Superfractor, but the fact that if I was to spend $4 million on a card, which I never will in my life, I would want it to at least be a 9.5. I think that 9 would be like, man, I spent $4 million and it's a 9.
But I mean, couldn't you see it being purchased by maybe somebody who runs a manufacturer, maybe another person who runs like an auction house? I know you were saying maybe the Arizona Diamondbacks owner, who's a big card collector. I think that doesn't really fit into his collection.
Yeah,
he's more of a vintage collector. But I don't know. I mean, could it have been?
I'm sure he bidded on it. The Arizona.
I mean, I don't understand how the auction works though. Like, Golden Auction was the one who auctioned it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vegas Dave can't go and be like, put me down for $3.5 million. Like,
No.
you can't do, like, right? You cannot do that.
I think you can set a reserve.
But saying that he shill bidded, I don't think he
But
can act, unless he
he
basically
could have his homie.
yeah, unless he like had his wife or his somebody he knows bid on it.
Jason brings up a good point in the chat. What if Trout bought it?
Well, he has money. He
got
has
a lot of money.
He has the money to buy it.
But I have it hard to believe.
But I think they actually had an interview and they asked him about it. And I mean, of course, I don't think he's going to be like, well, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if people know that he bought his card, but I don't think he would buy his own card.
If he's not a known collector, I would say that's maybe not.
I have to, and I think that somebody in the sports card industry that owns a business related to sports cards did not buy it. That's my opinion.
Okay, and I don't know really
because
know. I don't know much about.
PSA just came out with their revenue for the year. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's like 70 million.
Yeah. So do you think and that's a really good year? So do you think that somebody's going to take a $4 million and make an investment on something that's just one card that they'll never be able to monetize?
Okay. Well, how about this? We got done talking about Rally
Road.
Yeah, old Rally Road.
Old Town Road.
What if they bought it?
And they're doing shares?
And they're doing shares, but what if they buy it as like inventory.
Right.
And they're going to be able to flip it right away as soon as they put it up for whatever, many shares they're going to put it up as. Mm-hmm. So it could have been a company like that. When I said it was somebody in the industry, that's what I was basically thinking. I wasn't basically saying the person who bought this card was somebody who had at least $4 million.
It was probably Sports Card Nutsack on Twitter. They might have bought it.
It's a big. Maybe it was Marky Mark.
Could have been Dirk Diggler.
But I don't know, man. Who do you think it was? Let's play the speculation game. Who do you think it was, Doug?
Who do you guys think in the chat? I heard the Trout. I don't know. I don't think it's Brian Gray, for one. I can't rule out Trout. I mean, I don't know if he's into having pictures of himself, paying $4 million for a picture and an autograph of himself, which he could just do.
What if it's LeBron?
That would be a good story.
Because he did say that he had some of his own exquisite RPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's collecting. Maybe he saw that and he's like, I love Mike Trout. Mike Trout is the LeBron of baseball.
What about Ben Baller? Ben Baller loves Trout, Southern California guy.
That's true, but Ben Baller isn't a card collector at all.
Yeah, that's true. I know he did an awesome, Trout.
Yeah,
card,
he has a lot of collectible things, but cards are not one of them.
Yeah, he does the dolls we were talking about, right? The big dolls. I don't know. Who do you guys think?
Could it have been a large online retailer? Could it have been a large card shop? Could it have been a distributor? I don't know why they would need it, but it's an asset.
I think it's a CEO, just like the similar situation. The guy that bought the LeBron for over $1 million was the CEO of whatever that, I forget what the company was, but it was a publicly traded company. It was a large company.
Could have been Mark Cuban.
What about all these investors like Gary V?
You think it was could it be Gary V?
Could be Gary V. He does buy only 9s, so it would fit right into it.
Gary V's more of a because obviously I follow him a lot. Yeah, like he's more of a ground level type of guy. He's not a type of guy that will go and spend. It doesn't feel to me like he would go and spend.
You telling me buying that card at $4 million isn't getting it at the ground level?
No.
Real quick flip life. The flip life. So interesting scenario, and it just furthers this boom that we're going on. I mean, when we were talking about the LeBron $1 million card, all three of us never thought in our lifetime we'd see a modern card sell for $1 million in just a few short months. Maybe even less than a month. We have a $4 million card.
Mm-hmm.
A $4 million card that was made 11 years ago out of a $70 hobby box that was pulled, and a guy that's never won a championship. I mean, this is just crazy. And if you talk to people that don't collect baseball cards, they probably won't believe your story. Obviously, it's been floating on Sports Center, and there's obviously that info. But you just talk to somebody that's not watching the news and is not in tune to what's going on, they're not going to believe you that one single baseball card sold for $4 million.
I watched you open up a box of that when it came out that you paid like $70 for.
Yeah, I didn't get a Trout. So.
You did not. And we were talking about it, I think it was Monday night.
Yep.
And let's say, for instance, Doug did pull the Superfractor Mike Trout out of that box at that time, and you could chime in, disagree with me, whatever. I just, I've known you a long time. I think Doug probably would have flipped that card for $1,000.
Yes. Yeah, it would have. Sadly. Yes.
Yeah. No problem. Like, no problem. I mean,
that would have been a huge amount of money.
Yeah. And I would have been like, oh my God, you just got $1,000 for a piece of cardboard. I'd be like, Doug needs a parade. Like, I'm like, you're amazing. I wish if that happened, I mean, it would be a story for the ages.
That's all I would be talking about every day.
Every hype episode would be.
Actually, every break that would go live and go, hey, remember that time I pulled the Mike Trout Superfractor and sold it for $1,000?
I mean, I did. You guys do hear me talk. Some of these OG customers talk about that. I bought a 2009 Bowman Sterling mini box, which at the time Bowman Sterling was 6 mini boxes to a master box, had 3 autos, so it had 18 autos in the case. But I bought a mini box for $50, and I got a 2009 Bowman Sterling Trout auto. And I was like, I think the guy at the card shop that I went into later was like, hey, that's a pretty good car. I heard he's pretty good. You got to remember, in 2009, Trout was like, what, late 20th, not 20th round, like in the late 20s, the Angels drafted. It wasn't first round pick or anything. So I actually sold that card for, I think, $50. So, I mean, if you look at it now, it's like $5,000 or $6,000 card. So that goes right in tune with me. If I did pull that Superfractor, probably would have sold it. And I think 99% of us would have, because especially at that time, I mean,
you don't know.
I want to know how many hands the Trout Superfractor actually went through, though.
Right.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, we don't know if the person from Taiwan who sold it for $400,000, if it was pack pulled by him. He could have bought it from somebody else who bought it from somebody else. It could have been, I mean, it could have been
Changed,
5, 6, 7, 8 times. Like, somebody may have sold that Mike Trout at one point for $1,000.
Could have been.
Or they could have traded it for somebody that they PC'd.
I would love to see the history of that. And we were talking about that during the breaks on Monday, the history of it. But back to 2009. In 2009, if we had a $100 card, that was a lot for me. I was like, oh, that card's $100. I mean, now we're in the day where, LeBron 11th year, 12th year base cards are selling for $100, where it's like a $100 card is nothing. It's like a common card now. So it's just crazy how things have changed. Along with the Trout, Golden set a company record with its 2-day elite auction. Bidders spent $14 million at Golden auction over the weekend, snapping up everything from Babe Ruth to Zion Williamson's shoe. The record-setting 2-part elite auction concluded on Sunday, grossing about $14 million in sales for 359 lots. That is crazy. That is like car show numbers, not car show, like what you see on TV when those cars are rolling through. You see $500,000 bids. We're talking about sports cards, not sports cars. That is crazy. $14 million. And I don't know what their rake is, but Golden Auctions has got to be doing pretty dang good.
Yep.
I mean,
I would say it has to be at least
10%?
10% minimum, right?
So then they made $1.4 million over the weekend then. Doing pretty well.
That ain't bad.
Auction companies.
Auction companies. I mean, there's no even overhead, right? I mean, besides your website and, but how do we, I wonder, that's the other question. Before we move on to who's next, I want you guys to think, who's next? Is there anybody out there that Superfractor or Most Valuable Card can top the Mike Trout card? So who's next? Which is also going to be doing a giveaway based on that as well. But what I was going to say is $14 million at Golden Auctions, right? So it's just a crazy thought. Like, how do you ship that card out? Does somebody have to pick that up? I mean, you have to, right? You cannot trust old FedEx or USPS on that one, right?
First class, baby. First class.
PWE.
PWE forever stamp.
I mean,
What do you mean no signature?
We've had somebody pick up a $20,000 card because we didn't want to ship it. I can't even imagine.
I think
$4 million.
I think if you're going to spend $4 million, you probably have a plane that you can charter,
personal assistant you can send,
private jet that you're going to be able to charter to go out there and pick it up.
Yeah.
I would think, or you are near Golden Auctions, or somebody who's going to pick it up on your behalf. I don't know. Like, probably not shipped. I would say out of the 359 lots that they had, there was probably 50 to 60% of those were probably picked up in person.
Yep.
True. I mean, and then, so say you are the person, say you don't have an assistant to pick it up. I mean, because I probably wouldn't trust the assistant with it, because if they get mugged, then I would really be sad. So now you go and you meet Mr. Golden. He shakes your hand. You got the Trout.
Mr. Auction.
Mr. Auction. Yeah, his first name's Golden, right?
First name's Golden.
Oh, I guess
last name's Auction.
So you meet Mr. Auction. What do you do with it then? Do you put it in the little pocket there? Do you put it in your bag? I mean, like, I wouldn't be able to function in society knowing that I have something on me that's worth $4 million that at any point somebody can maybe rip from my hands with a gun, could beat me up. I could lose. I could go to the bathroom and leave my bag somewhere. How do you safely?
I know. You contract like a Brinks truck. You basically you hire like a Brinks truck with armed guards to drive you there
to the airport,
and to
Mr. Auction's house.
Mr. Auction's house.
Mr. Auction's house. Kelp says, take some photos and head to the safety deposit box. Yes, but assuming that the person, like, let's just say, I don't know where Golden Auctions is based out of, but like say they're based in Texas and you're in New York, you have to fly, and then you're going to have to either put the card in your luggage, put the card on your person.
I'm not gonna be like, here you go, Southwest.
You probably ain't flying Southwest though either.
Here you go, Spirit.
Yeah. You got to hang on to the wing of the plane and hold on to your card at the same time. I know these are weird things to think about, but these are legit like things that you have a $4 million item
but again,
on
like
you.
honestly, like the person who bought that, like $4 million probably doesn't mean as much to them as it does us.
I don't know. I don't even care if I had a couple $billion.
But you don't
I
know.
would still be
But
like,
you don't
this
know.
is $4 million.
You don't know that until you have a couple $1 billion.
No, I will never probably have $1 billion, but I would still consider a $4 million item.
But if you're living that lifestyle, I don't.
Yeah. Maybe if you were born with a lot of money, maybe you don't look at money the same. But I was not born with a lot of money, so something. But then there's maybe what if this guy's like a huge Trout thing, and this is priceless to him. He would have paid $10 million to get it. So now he's got to travel with it and worry about it, and just I don't know. Yeah, that would just drive me crazy knowing where it is at all times. You know?
I would probably go pick it up in person. I don't think I would fly.
You would drive it?
I'd probably drive it.
Yeah, I would feel more comfortable driving too. What do you think, C-Rad? How would you do it?
Oh man, I'd fly with it, but I'd have obviously have to keep it with me at all times.
Like
whatever.
when you go through security checkpoint, you're gonna have to put it in the bin.
Yeah, that's right.
Like how about that?
That is stressful.
You're just like somebody's like grabbing your bin. You're all, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, maybe you do that. Well, I heard it's pretty cheap nowadays to get that that Uber jet, that jet thing that you can get. You can walk out onto the.
It's all. I mean,
you don't have to go through TSA that way. I don't think.
I think it's safe to say whoever bought it probably has transportation.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I was gonna say. So if you have $4 million for the Trout, first of all, you're not going through TSA probably. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna put the Trout in like one of the little plastic bins. It's gonna go through the X-ray machine
with your wallet.
Yeah, with phone. My wallet, my phone, my belt, my shoes.
On your wallet.
You basically put the slab inside your shoe.
Yeah.
So no one can see
you have it sticking out. So people can see it like it's going through. But no, yeah. If you have $4 million for this card, I can't imagine if I had $4 million and I bought this card and I'm that type of person with that type of money. I'm obviously keeping it with me at all times, and I'm flying private, and I'm pulling up in my Rolls Royce to the private, strip, and I'm hopping in my private jet with all my honeys in there, and I'm getting out of there, bro.
But there's no chance that a guy like worked his whole life, saved $5 million. He's got $5 million in the bank. And he's like 78 years old.
And this is it.
This is it. Like I just wanted the best baseball card of the modern era, and he just spent 90% of his wealth to buy this card. There's no chance.
It's somebody who won like $10 million on like a Powerball ticket, and we're like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this Mike Trout
because it's a great investment.
It's a good investment. Got in at the ground floor.
I've been watching some Ozark lately. Is there maybe a big company doing some money laundering? You got to show that you bought something, you spent your money on something. Could be the case.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Never know. You can't rule it out.
Know.